is an intuitive reading for May 2021. This is a general reading. Keep what resonates with you and release the rest. As with all intuitive work, it's important that you employ your discernment. Trust your own inner wisdom. To receive this reading, open a journal. Be ready to listen to your own guidance as it comes through. Take a few deep breaths and come into your heart. It's here in your heart that you can listen with discernment. And remember, if it isn't love, it isn't God. I've pulled cards today for this month, May of 2021, from the Animal Allies cards and the Goddess Dream Oracle. And I chose these two decks for this month simply based on feeling. I have a lot of decks and I just stand in front of them and ask myself which ones need to come forward for this month. And these were the two that stepped forward. If you'll notice, there's a lot of green in these images, as well as some pink. And so that indicates heart chakra to me, and love and compassion. So I'm going to say that those are the dominant energies coming through in this reading for this month. Now, this is a general reading. It's for the collective. It's for anyone who finds themselves here to watch this video. And so, of course, not everything that I say is going to resonate with you. It's always true. It's true of any intuitive work that you engage with, any teacher, any reader, that you should always enter into these relationships with your own discernment intact. The wisdom of God, the wisdom of love is in your own heart right now. The purpose for using cards or any other sort of method for divination is deep listening. It's really about coming into communion with yourself, with your bigger self, with your soul, and tapping into that guidance that exists for you all the time. So the tools themselves are not where the power lies. The power lies with you. So the first card that I pulled for us this month is Jellyfish. And if you think about the way that a jellyfish exists in the water, allowing the currents to move it, the jellyfish is really dependent on the flow of the current, on the flow of the water. And so perhaps this card is coming forward now to remind us that we are part of an interconnected whole. We are individual pieces that make up one. There's unity here in this card. And even though each one of us is unique and different and we have our own path and our own personality and our own mission, we are also part of the larger mission and the collective, the unified one. This could also be telling you that that you can reach out to ask for help from others this month, looking at the places in your life where you need some support. You need to go with the flow. You need that current to help guide you along. The second card that I pulled is Hawk, and Hawk is a messenger of the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. So Hawk does remind us of our connection to the divine. And if you think about a hawk and their keen sense of sight, the way that they fly, a hawk is a fierce spiritual energy. And then we have another bird. We have more wings, more flight, more air energy here with Hummingbird. And Hummingbird symbolizes joy and happiness and I think a little bit of magic. Like, think about how it feels when you are sitting outside and all of a sudden a hummingbird flies in front of you. If you've ever had a hummingbird hover in front of your eyes, then you know what I mean, how magical, and you just feel like you've been kissed by spirit when a hummingbird flies by. And so I think if we look at this row, these introductory energies, overarching energies for the month of May, we're feeling this connection, and it's very spiritual. It's very connected to God and to ourselves as spiritual beings, and also this joy and playfulness and uplift. And so this tells me that maybe things are going to start to feel a little better for us this month. The heaviness that we've been walking through, the sorrow, the darkness in some cases, maybe there's going to be some uplift here in May. So now we're moving on to the cards from the Goddess Dream Oracle. The first card that I pulled here is Self-Exploration, Fairy Tales, and Myths. And you can see there's a full moon in the background here. There is a large bird, perhaps a hawk or an owl, some other large bird of prey. There is a fox walking in the moonlight. This is all the woods, the path in the woods illuminated by the moon representing what is deep, what is hidden, intuitive knowing. And then we have the badger here, of course, communing with the woman who has stars in her hair. And I'm saying it's a woman, but I don't know. It might not be a woman. This does represent you. So however it is that you identify, male, female, non-binary, here you are. And here is this love and this connection to nature and this vision of what is being illuminated in the moonlight. When you think about fairy tales and myths, I would encourage you to think about your own fairy tales and myths. What are the stories that you feel? What are the stories that guide you, that you connect to? What are the stories that you have carried with you since you were young that really light you up, that show you the way? And where can you find yourself in those myths, in those symbols? And then we come into happiness and joy of life, really connecting to this hummingbird card. We have this beautiful jumping hare, this jumping rabbit. The figure here holding what looks to be a bowl of eggs. So we have real springtime energy coming through for this reading for May. And this is a person who is fully engaged in the moment and fully embodied. This person is feeling the joy of being alive and the magic of being alive. And this person with this flowers in their hair, much like there were stars in the hair here, spreading these flowers out, pushing them out, dropping them, flowing them out into the world as they dance. And then we come, more rabbits, more springtime, more flowers, more stars, new beginnings. Take a fresh look at life. We have the egg symbol here again. So I love that we're ending this reading with new beginnings. If we read these cards left to right as if this is the beginning of May and this is the end of May, then we start our journey here sort of hanging loose and free and being guided by the currents, just like the jellyfish, allowing ourselves to go with the flow, asking for help when we need it, connecting into that fierce spirit, the higher self, the soul and God, connecting into our unique and dynamic spirituality, the place where we find strength, connection, and guidance, having these moments of joy and magic, coming into the self, really honoring the self and our own stories and the playfulness of fairy tale and stories and myth, coming again into that happiness, the joy of life, and then emerging at the end of this month at the gateway of a new beginning, of really being able to take a fresh look at everything and where we might be going. So this is a deeply spiritual and beautiful path that we're on this month, and we are moving toward reinvention, toward something new.